Hey guys, we are back with another reaction video. Massive shout out to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel over the past couple of weeks. Really does mean a lot for you guys that have been commenting, liking, sharing, all of that good stuff that really helps the message grow about how awesome kettlebell sport is. Not that we're biased or not, but I'm really pleased that you're embracing the content. So today guys, back with another reaction video. So last week we looked at the up-and-comers, the future stars. Today, we're going to go way back. We're going to go, I say way back. Way back's going to date me massively, but we're going to go back in time. We're going to look at a championships. It's just really cool. I'm super excited that I've found this video. FYI, I would say it is, for once, it's not my technology that makes the video look poor. I think it's the fact that it was filmed on a potato. I truly believe that, you know. But technology's moved on. But we'll get through it, guys. So let's get stuck straight into this. Great to have you with us. So guys, we are back again with another kettlebell reaction video. The videos where I just break down exactly what I'm seeing on the screen from a kettlebell coach's point of view. So hopefully you guys who are watching can take away some great bits of information to help you on your journey with kettlebell sport training, whether you've been in it for a while now, or whether you are just started, or whether you are outside looking in, just saying, these kettlebell sport guys talk about how great this sport is. What the hell is it all about? If you just stumbled across this channel as well, because YouTube's done a great job of suggesting it for you, I hope you take some value from it. So guys, we're going back in time. Back in time. I feel like I should have like some funky music on right now to play us in to go back in time, but I don't. So we won't. So we are going back to 2002. Seems like a long time ago, and for some people who are in my gym, that is a very, very long time ago, because they like to remind me even I am starting to be old towards them, which is it stings a little bit. It stings. But guys, let's get stuck straight into this. This is a really, really cool one. Like I say, I think it was filmed on a potato back in the day. So apologies, that is a bit grainy, but guys, 70 kilo Russian Championship 2002. I'm sure we'll see some famous faces on here. I haven't actually watched this flight. I watched one of the 80 kilogram category, and Kraftstoff was on there, who is a absolute wicked lifter. Met him in 2013 in Xiamen. Last time I saw him, he was incredibly drunk, just about to get on an airplane flying back home. I think the guy had consumed a large amount of alcohol, shall we say. And he got on the flight and I think he made it home. But yeah, really cool guy. So let's get stuck straight in. Just look at this, guys. For you guys who are getting into kettlebell sport or are starting to compete now, I think it's always cool just to look back of where it all started and how the foundations have been laid. And I think one thing I'd like to stress is obviously the Russian athletes have embraced the sport for a really, really long time. But look at the level of competition 20 years ago, you know. And I think we always try and copy the Russian system for training and stuff, and because it originated from that. But I think sometimes we need to take a step back and go, actually, these guys have just been doing it a hell of a long time. Sergey Mikulin right there. Wow, that is a young Sergey. Sergey, haven't seen him for a long time. Hopefully he is well. So, but these guys have been at it for a long time. Look at the level of competition even back then. I've competed in some competitions and hosted competitions that didn't even look this good. You know, I'd like to say the fashion sense has upgraded a little bit, you know, but even still, look at it. Look at the fanfare. Look at the setups and stuff like that. It's pretty cool to see. So we're looking at a jerk here. And I think one thing that you would probably, that jumps straight out to you as you're watching some of these old videos, is like level of fixation, how over the years fixation is typically got a little bit stricter, and the bells have to be at a complete standstill. You'll see some movements now in these older flights that as soon as the bells are kind of up and the legs have locked out, they drop straight away. But you can still see movement in the kettlebells here. So pretty cool. See how the guy's really catching through the shoulders and bringing it down. So really controlling it, holding the weight, holding in. Sergey Mikulin's like kind of infamous internally rotated grip in rack position helped him relax, but also like the overhead mobility is just like phenomenal. But look at these guys, like these are 70 kilo lifters. So they're really controlling the weight and trying to absorb with the shoulders. Like every single one of them now, if we look at modern day lifters, really quick on bringing it, dropping it down. These guys are really controlling it. It's very smooth, like very, very controlled on the shoulders, bringing it back into rack position, you know. So quality's not great. 25 reps at 2.5 minutes there, I think it was. Hard to see, but this is a great shot, great profile. I mean, look at the second dip on every single athlete there. The second dip, boom, really, really low, getting the hips down and back, sending the kettlebell straight up. Really, really cool to see from different angles as well. Just unfortunately, it's filmed on a potato, isn't it? But you know, it's really cool just to see this. I think we've got like 71 reps there at like 7.5 minutes, or 70 reps there. So kind of like pace 10. Can't quite see what Sergey's on there. Looks like we're on like 85 at around about 8 minutes. So you kind of, your lifters there, somebody's put it down. Looks like 99 reps, hard to say. Sergey's just gone over 100 there at minute 9. Yeah, that's minute 9. So kind of looking, the pace kind of 12 in and around that, which is pretty cool compared to the results that get put up by 70 kilo lifters now. The exception being Sulaimanov, who is just an incredible lifter, you know, putting up like 160s and stuff. But this is just really cool to see. And I think what makes it cool to see is that we compare ourselves in the West in like sports that are relatively new. This is pretty cool that these guys are getting the medal for jerk. And if you think about the changes to biathlon now, it's kind of the same. You get a medal for jerk, and then you'll get a medal for snatch, and you get a medal for long cycle. So these guys are coming out for snatch now. But what I was saying there, Sergey Rudnev, another fantastic lifter, godfather of modern kettlebell lifting. But what I was saying was, I think what's pretty cool, I don't want to miss any of this, guys, so I just want to make the point. I think, look at the results that these guys put out. And look at like what we do in the West now. We compare ourselves to the modern day lifters. So you kind of Ivan Denisov, Ivan Markov, Sulaimanov, you know, all of these kind of great lifters, these people that are just putting up great numbers, Alexei Rybakov, you know, the list goes on and on and on, you know, and automatically we get ourselves on the back foot because we're never going to be able to, or we can't see how we're going to catch that, get that up. But if we just rewind the clock, there, the 70 kilo like lift there, first place was kind of like 117 reps. So you're looking at around like 90 to 110, 120 reps is kind of taking first place in jerk, you know. But there's people in the West that are starting to catch that up, and I think that is it with endurance sports. Sometimes you need to be able to see the path, but also you just need the sport to have time to bed in, and the consistency of people turning up and practicing it and practice at a high level. And the results will come, and you see that because these guys laid the foundation for where the guys are now. So these guys are probably some of the coaches of some of the great lifters. I know Sergey Mikulin is a honored master of coach of Russia. Got a lot of great athletes coming out of his gym and stuff like that as well. So these guys have laid the foundation for the modern day lifts that we see now, which is pretty cool. And I think sometimes in the West we do ourselves that, comparison and where the Russians are, and we're never going to be able to catch that. I think sometimes it's just having an appreciation for the sport and how long it takes to grow and to get the foundations in place to allow it to keep on developing. And that's the way I kind of see it with my guys and my juniors. Very much about the sport isn't about me anymore. It's about the guys that are coming up, the 13, 14, 15-year-olds where they are now. Like, what's the sport going to look like in 10, 15 years for those guys, and as it constantly grows and develops, So, on to snatch now. So, obviously, the biathlon competition. I think back at the Russian Championships, they had like long cycle only competitions and then snatch only competitions. What's really cool with snatch, though, back at this time, what they did was once you'd finished doing as many as you could on the right hand, they would start the timer again and start counting afresh from the left hand. So if we watch here, so Sergei Mikulin, 70 reps at 4.5 minutes. He's changing hands. And look, the timer's just started again. It allowed the extra swing in there. Time has started again, and what happened was basically they just took the result, the lowest result, and added that to your biathlon score, so kind of 70 reps there. So this guy's finishing on kind of 140 reps at 8.5 minutes. Sergei Mikulin's on 62 at 8 and a bit minutes. I think he finished on 71 before he changed hands. So what's that? 69. 70, 71. So there, he's 71. He stopped on 71. He still had time on. He probably could have still coped, but that's the highest score he could have got because the score was off his previous one. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That yeah. I don't know. I'm struggling what to say because the reason being is because I'm kind of caught in this kind of parallel thing of where we are now in the West, and I'm only referring to the UK. We're in a very massive dip in the sport at the moment, but I'm looking at the numbers that these guys are doing like 20 years ago, and like in today's day and age, they would be like winning most competitions outside of Russia and outside of kind of countries like Ukraine and stuff and Kazakhstan, and you're looking at some of them results and you're like, actually, when you compare yourself to that, you're not a million miles away. Yeah, I'm not saying those results are very easy to hit, far from it, but it just sort of narrows the gulf and it puts a bit of perspective, and it's kind of reaffirming to me that we're on the right path. Although the sport in the UK is in a massive dip at the moment, the fact that we've got so many juniors coming through and they're going to be carrying the torch and going to championships and going to put these great results up, it kind of just shows that actually if you just stay the course and keep on pushing and being persistent with it, then the sport will grow, the sport will flourish, and I think what's really cool here is obviously the techniques have changed. Obviously, everybody that's lifted in this one, if we just let it play again, everybody that's lifting, it was kind of reliant on control and kind of just getting the bells up, not worrying too much about fixation and pausing with the bells, but kind of that everybody had absolute fantastic overhead mobility pretty much that we saw. If we looked at everybody kind of had that behind the head, apart from kind of platform number 5 or 6, I think. But just incredible just to see how far the sport's grown there. And I think if we just move across, look at some of the techniques. Fixation isn't massive, but the principles are there. Obviously, there's this day and age, you'd probably get null counted at a world championships for those types of reps because there's no fixation there. But, speed on the second dip was obviously prioritized, and great overhead mobility to be able to kind of stabilize the weight and not rely on brute force to send them up, which I think is pretty cool, because what you see now is you get a lot of guys who are kind of a little bit more strength and power focused, whereas obviously back in the day it was a little bit more send them up and just be a bit more controlled, and just kind of a slower movement compared to if we just comparing it to today's lifters, the way the speed of the bells, the speed of the body, the speed of bringing them down, everything's just kind of sped up a little bit in the pursuit of just kind of load and explode. And I think this is a really cool shot here, obviously sending it up, good triple extension, but getting down really, really deep under the bells, every single one of them kind of hitting that deep position there. I think it's just a really cool video, guys, and I think hopefully you took something from that. Hopefully I just didn't waffle on. I felt like I waffled a bit, but it's all good. You guys are used to that now. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed going down memory lane with us there. I really enjoyed that, and I think I'm kind of leaving it kind of, just feeling pretty good. That we don't always have to just look at where people are now and say, right, well, that's what I need to get to right now. I think it's understanding there's a process to this. It's no different to any other sport. We look at the quality of football, soccer, football, which depends on which side of the pond you're on, but football. If we look at the standards of kind of the 80s and even the 90s, and look at the noughties as well, and look at where we are now, the speed of the game, the fluidity, things have changed and things move on and the sport evolves. But I think what's pretty cool is just looking at the foundations of where you are, and I'd say us in the West would be better to look at these guys at these videos and just take a bit of solace in the fact that these guys actually started in the same place. They didn't just wake up and start blasting out 170 odd reps on jerk. It was a process. It took time. It took perseverance. It took consistency. And they also didn't just wake up and just say, tell you what, we're going to put an amazing competition with light shows and big screens and etc., etc. It took time. It took persistence. It started off in sports halls, a lot like what happens in the West at this moment in time, which is just pretty cool to see. It's a bit of nostalgia, but it's also following a roadmap of where the rest of the world can kind of end up when we get into world championships, and the level of the sport can only grow as well as it gets more competitive, because that's what we want. A competitive sport is a better sport to watch, in my opinion. If you've got people that are winning it time after time, it gets great for kettlebell lifters. It gets pretty boring for spectators, in my opinion. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Again, drop some comments in. What do you think? What do you think of the old style versus the new school that we have today? What was your big takeaways from that one? Let me know. Drop them in the comment section. Keep sharing the love, guys. Keep like, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, keep up the love, and we'll catch up again very, very soon.